Mid-year book sales are here, so am I. Hello, welcome to Christy Gray's Scarlet Pen. I am an author, creativity chaser, and book lover, and I did say goodbye to BookTube just recently, but I did say that I'd be around every so often if I wanted to film another video here or there, and before my life gets absolutely crazy busy where I can't do any of these, I'm doing one. It is mid-year sales right now, end of financial year, so there are some really cool sales out there for books as well. So I got an order from Chronicle for a mid-year sale book haul. I do know what I ordered, but I have forgotten most of it. So here we go. Well, also you might notice I am in a different location. This is my new apartment. Very happy to be in an apartment. It's really fun. It was a really big, stressful move, but I'm here now, and so this is my really cool reading setup, just FYI. Okay, I think some of these books were quite obscure from memory. This first one on the top, I'd never heard of in my life because there was a sale. I just looked at the sale items. I didn't look at all the normal ones that I would have bought. I just wanted sort of to see some really cool ones that were on sale. Good value for money in the mid-year haul. So the first one at the top of the box is called Counting Stars in an Empty Sky by Michael Youssef. This is a non-fiction book and essentially is about trusting God in really difficult situations, and it brings into comparison it with Abraham and from the Bible, and when he was childless and God was saying to him that he would have numerous children like the stars in the sky, hence the hence the title for the book. But essentially it boils down to being a book about trusting God when we're in really difficult situations, which I think is really cool. There are a lot of difficult situations in the world right now, and in my life right now things are all changing, and so yeah, it'll be good. There might be a couple that are on theme a little bit. We'll see how we go. This, oh my gosh, I'm really excited for this next one because I broke my rule about only looking at the sale specifically for this one because to me it was worth it. I think I removed 2 from my cart just to get this one because I wanted it. So this is Job, a story of unlikely joy by Lisa Harper. So essentially this is a Bible study on the book of Job. And if you don't know who Job was, he was this poor guy in the Bible who literally had everything taken away from him. The enemy said, you know, if you take everything away from somebody, then they're going to turn away from you. And God said, not this guy. This guy would have it all. If that was going to happen, he would still, you know, trust me and stick with me. And so poor Job, unfortunately, he had everything taken away from him, but he was still faithful. So it's literally a study about finding joy even though it's really unlikely or in a really difficult situation. And I love, love, love Lisa Harper. She is a phenomenal Bible teacher and speaker, and she's so good. So I'm really excited to get this one. Next one. Okay, these ones are upside down, so it's more exciting to pull them out of my box over here. Oh, I actually really thought this would be really fun. So this is called The Seamstress by Alison Pittman. So it's more of a historical fiction. I don't do a lot of historical fiction, so I'm actually kind of excited for this one. It's France in 1788 in the time of Marie Antoinette. It's the story of 2 orphaned young girls. One of them is a seamstress, and she gets tapped on the shoulder to come and into the courts of Queen Marie Antoinette and be a seamstress in the palace, I think. But of course there's all of the Renaissance stuff happening, and there was like the big, you know, the revolt or whatever happened with Marie Antoinette at the same time, as far as I'm aware. So it'll be really interesting, and it'll also be really interesting to get a bit more information because that is such limited information about this story. But I thought it sounded really cool, and again, not a lot of historical fiction in my repertoire. I thought so anyway. So there you go. Alrighty. This is Stand All the Way Up, Stories of Staying in It When You Want to Burn It All Down by by Sophie Hudson. That's a really long title if you read the sub, but otherwise you could just say Stand All the Way Up. And it is essentially exactly what that just said, stories and encouragement when you're finding it really hard to get through life. But yeah, it's just essentially encouragements and stories from getting through the tough times, which I think is really cool. Oh, I have a bent page. No. That's okay. It'll survive. $7, that's alright. I can tell by the back what this one is, so that's really cool. So this book is called Justice Delayed by Patricia Bradley. So this is a Memphis cold case novel. This is a fiction book. So those, we've had 3 nonfiction, and this is my 2nd fiction so far. And so Justice Delayed is part of the Memphis cold case series. I have 2 of the series that I had gotten a while back, and I loved them so much. The Memphis Cold Case, I love these books. They're really, really good. And so then I found this one and I was like, oh my gosh, it's on sale, here it is. Actually, I don't think it was really on that much of a sale, but it was worth buying because I liked them so much. So these books are actually what I would classify under the banner of Christian romantic suspense, which is one of my favorite things to read. And essentially comes to a television reporter's sister, was murdered, and the killer was convicted and is sentenced to be executed, but then someone writes in a letter that says actually they weren't the person who really did it, who really killed her. And so everyone is scrambling to make sure that the guy who's about to be killed really did commit this crime, and see who would have written that letter and why, and if they know something about the real killer. And then there's personal connections to the main characters. And there's so Memphis cold case novels, so it happens in Memphis, and they're usually cold cases that are linked, usually in the other 2 that I've read, they are usually linked to a current murder, which then opens up this avenue to solve the cold cases. So that's what it's been for the other 2. I don't know if that's really going to be, I don't know if that's really going to work for this one, but this is a really cool idea. I really liked this. And again, I love Patricia Bradley until I found those other books that I specifically bought because it was like an Elvis style murder. And then discovered that I just loved her style. I loved the series. So yeah, it's just a really good writer. All right, the next one is, all of the fiction apparently is at the bottom, A Glitter of Gold by Liz Johnson. So this one is a part of a series, but I had never heard of the author before or the series, but this guy I think was on sale. So I picked it up because it sounded really interesting, but it's kind of like finding a shipwreck and coordinating with the museum, but apparently there's a puzzle involved. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of information actually on the back, but essentially pirate ship treasure found. Pirate ship or just treasure, or just a shipwreck? Wait, oh, it's a shipwreck and they're going to try and decide if it's worth anything or not. Anyway, that sounds good. It sounded good. I probably didn't describe it very well. Oh yeah, so Formula of Deception by Carrie Stewart Parks. How cool is this cover though too? You've got like this standout green with the blue in the back. So this one is about an artist whose twin sister was killed when they were younger, and she had changed her name, moved to Alaska to avoid the killer. And hide, but then she gets tapped on the shoulder to sort of record this dying man's last confessions, or I guess memories. But he's linked to a World War II situation, which then puts her in the limelight, so she's in danger again, but also they've got to try and unravel this mystery of what happened in World War II and this guy and what he had to do with it all. And yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of elements for this book. There's an artist, there's recording a dying man's memories, there's a World War II thing to unwrap. There's also a serial killer who potentially is going to come back and try and kill her from her twin sister. There's a lot happening in this book. We'll see if it gets pulled off. Yeah, it did sound really interesting though. I like the idea of all of these elements, so I was really interested to see if it was going to work. This is called In This Moment by Karen Kingsbury, and it is a Baxter family novel. So apparently, I have never heard of this person or this series, but apparently this is a series that is done, and I think it's like a Christian romance, sort of family tree. Oh, look at this. This is so cool. Look at this. It's their family tree, so you can understand who is who in the series and things like that. And it tells you if anyone is dead. So I'm assuming those would be like the older people, maybe. Like the matriarch, patriarch people. But how cool is this? This is so cool. I like didn't expect that to be in here. I think that's so cool. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I did look at and consider a couple of these because they were all around the same price, but I think this one was the one I picked because it sounded the best. So this story follows a lawyer and a high school principal. He is hired because this high school principal started a book club at her school and was sued for it. There'll be a lot about sort of religious freedom in here and what does that mean. It is from America. In Australia, things probably run a little bit different. It's kind of like this mixture of all sorts of things. I think there's some romance in it as well, but I thought that was really interesting. It was a really interesting concept. I forgot that it was hardcover, so that's really cool. We're almost there. I only have a couple left. This one was so funny. I don't know what it was about this, just sounded really cute. So this was called Arcade and the Golden Travel Guide, and it is a coin slot chronicle book. It is, I think you probably would classify it as a middle grade book, but it's essentially a book for, kids. But it sounded so fun, and I'm a kid at heart, so I went for it. And it is by Richard Jennings. There's really only a few books that I got that I actually knew the authors of, and I think that's really fun and really cool to explore new authors and expand my knowledge, and if I like them a lot, then maybe I'll end up getting more, but we'll see. So, what is this book about? So, our main character, Arcade, has this mysterious token and apparently thinks somebody is following him to take it. And then he finds a box of mysterious papers or something. A hidden box of old notes deep in the woods. And they have to try and put the pieces together, him and his friends. Exciting adventure in there somewhere, which would be fun. This is also hardcover, so I didn't know that. It must have been on the information, but I didn't actually know that. So there's a whole bunch of these coin slot chronicle things, and if it was any good, then I might be able to check out them more, but there is only one more left. I thought that I had gotten way more non-fiction than fiction, but actually in my pile it looks like I got way more fiction. But here is the last one. Of course, this one. Okay, this is Flight Risk by Kara, or Kara, I don't know how she pronounces her name, but Kara Putman. Yep, this person. I'm gonna put this box down. This is my last book to talk about. I've actually had this book on my list for a while now, and so it was really exciting to actually get it. This is another book that sounds like there's a lot going on, just even from the back blurb, but essentially follows a lawyer as she tries to find the truth and bring down sort of this criminal enterprise, and including, I think there's, international sex trafficking, bringing down celebrity baseball players, her ex-husband, and there's a plane crash, and lots of people are dying under some mysterious circumstances. And she also teams up with, it looks like, a reporter as well. So lawyer and reporter on the mission together to do what, really happens by police officers. But of course it wouldn't be a book if it wasn't at least a little bit different than that. Anyway, I just had this mini panic, like maybe I already own this book because it just sounded so like I've already heard it. Hang on. No, I don't own it. I don't own it. I just checked. I checked everywhere just to make sure. It just must be on my list. Must have been there so long. This is a solid haul from sales. A lot of these were $7 or $10. There was a couple that I made exceptions for, like the one on the Job Bible study. I made an exception for that one because I really, really wanted this. So I did make an exception and paid full price for this one. But you know what? The rest of them were really good. Like, this is pretty solid. If you have read any of these books, please let me know what you thought about them. I would love to hear your thoughts as well. But otherwise, if you wanted to check out some of these books, and like I said before, I will try to link them in the description below and see if I can even justify send you to Goodreads so you can find out more about these books. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the adventures. When in doubt, when in struggle, references that reference the Bible. That doesn't make sense. Whatever. Encouragement not to burn everything to the ground. That's such a funny way to put it. This nice little pile over here. Adventurous adventure.